Thanks, guys. Oh man, Gimbal's acting up again a bit, but that's all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate it. Alright, we basically walked right on. That's awesome.
Oh, the car 3? We got people in car 3?
Reduce the brightness.
That's wild, guys. We're gonna have a wild time out there. I'll throw your little background music back in.
It's okay.
There we go.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
That's a lot better. Look at that. You usually don't see it this empty unless you come here really early in the morning. This is cool. Take off my backpack for that.
Looks like we're doing some reorganizing. More people in car 3. Shout out to car 3. I do love car 3. I don't mean to be biased. I don't have a favorite car. I guess my favorite car is the first one, because that's where I am. That's where I get to sit.
I saw my buddy Gerard as I was walking in.
We're doing a long load, but we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. If I haven't introduced myself to you yet, hi, I'm Jenna. I'm your tour guide. You're going to hear me yap so much. You all know how it goes.
Might actually unplug this in.
I hope everyone's having a great time so far. Here at the Pass Member Takeover, sponsored by Coca-Cola. Woohoo! Coca-Cola products. Alright, looks like we're getting those gates down, so watch your arms and legs. That's on your left-hand side. I know my right from my left. And we're gonna hit the town. By town, I do mean the Universal Studios Backlot. Once again, I'm Jenna, and I'm not the only person up here. We also have our wonderful driver, Yegan. Everyone say hi, Yegan. That was like no energy. You guys are pass holders, come on. I know you can do it. Everyone say hi, Yegan. Hi, Yegan. All right, that's better. I'm getting some good energy from my first car. The rest of you need to lock in. We're gonna have a good time tonight. This is a Pass Member event. Anyways, you know me. You know our driver, Yegan. Can you guess who our celebrity co-host is? Shout it out right now. Jimmy Fallon!
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. We've got the very best guide
Jenna.
And the greatest driver.
Yegan.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Jenna.
they owes me $5.
That's a lie.
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I will be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind during the tour. Be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so you may get wet. There are also sudden tram movements during the tour, so secure your personal belongings and hold on. Finally, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. And with that, we are headed down our timeline. These lovely little movie posters are going to give you an idea of some of the films we have created here at Universal throughout the years. About 110 years ago, our founder, Carl Laemmle, decided to make the weirdest little city in the world. And that he did because we are not just a movie studio, we are also an actual city. We have 2 Starbucks locations. We have a Hot Topic. We don't have residents. We do have our own functioning fire station. You're going to see that on your right-hand side. This is a real fire station. It is not a set. We also have our own zip code, 91608, if you were wondering. 100 Universal Way, Universal City, 91608. That's the address. If anybody wants to be a part of Universal Studios history and be the first guest to ever send me a letter. Anyways, we're heading down the timeline towards our sound stages. We're going to be starting with Soundstage 12, the big, the bad, the famous. This is our oldest and largest soundstage at about 30,000 square feet. You're going to see some of those clips that have filmed in that location on your screen right now. Frankenstein's Laboratory, Dracula's Castle, the mansion from everyone's favorite kids movie, Scarface. Now this is what it looks like inside an empty soundstage. It is essentially a large warehouse, but it's a warehouse that is perfectly suited for filming. That is why 80 to 90% of everything that you see on TV and in the movies is filmed inside of a soundstage. Now, I do want to take a minute to say that Universal Studios is part of NBC Universal, one of the world's leading entertainment companies, which includes Universal Pictures, Focus Features, Peacock, and NBC Television. This year, NBC is celebrating its 100th anniversary, from trailblazing radio and television to The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And every beloved show in between, NBC has been the home of entertainment, news, and sports for an entire century. We're celebrating the network all year long, and we're celebrating the studio tour at literally all times. Now, we film here inside our sound stages. We also film outside our sound stages. If you look to your left, you're going to see a beautiful parking garage, the Carl Laemmle parking structure. On your screens right now, I'll show you an example of what we have filmed in that location for the Lost World Jurassic Park, as released in 1997. This shot, specifically when they're dangling the mobile lab over the edge of a cliff, was filmed on the side of that parking garage. Now, there's plenty of reasons to film here as opposed to on location. One of them is safety. It is significantly safer to film on a parking garage that you know isn't going to crumble. It is also far more convenient. We got a little bit of Horror Nights construction going on here, right? That's exciting. Now we're passing by our TV stages on your right-hand side. I'll show you a couple of the titles that are filmed in those locations. It's going to start with some older ones, but they'll get more recognizable as we go on. Recently inside of these stages has been the TV show The Paper, which is a spin-off of The Office. It's on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Stage 19 right here, we've also been filming The 5-Star Weekend, starring Jennifer Garner, Darcy Barton. We got quite a few names in there. Now, on our other side, we have these beautiful short little beige buildings. These used to be where our contract actors would spend their days. See, back in the golden era of Hollywood, actors were kind of like sports stars. They would sign to one team, they'd sign to one studio, and they would be, for example, with us for about 10 films. This is where those people would be like Elizabeth Taylor, those sort of stars. But now we use them for pre-production. Pre-production is one of the 3 phases of production. It's anything that happens before the camera starts rolling. All of your casting, all of your designing, your script writing, your planning, that is going to happen in these short little bungalows. If you look to your left-hand side, you can see that Wicked balloon, and the MP side, that is the Mark Platt Productions bungalow. They brought us Wicked and Wicked for Good, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. They also are responsible for movies like La La Land, Legally Blonde. Mark Platt is responsible, I assume, for his son, Ben Platt. They got quite a bit going on. Now we're going to pass by a couple more Soundstages, 25 and 26. These ones are a little bit different. You'll see they have the big glass windows in the front, and that's because these have production offices built into the building. It makes it a little bit easier for the cast and crew to make it to all the meetings they need. These are currently being used for St. Denis Medical. If we were to walk through those doors, we would find ourselves in what seems like a fully functioning hospital. And that's because this is a set for a mockumentary style show. They need the set to be 360 degrees because they're pointing the camera wherever they see the comedy. That is different from a typical sitcom set, which is going to have 3 walls and no ceiling. If you've ever seen the first episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they make kind of a meta joke where they're like, if we're so rich, why can't we afford a ceiling? That is your typical sitcom set. Now we can take a peek into our metro sets right as we go by, but we are headed to a different kind of jungle, Skull Island. I'm going to let Peter Jackson tell you a little more about it.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. And to me, Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island.
I want to encourage everyone to please remain seated and hold on to your loved ones. By loved ones, I do mean your cell phones. If you brought anything in here, it belongs to King Kong.
Folk. Nobody's lived here for hundreds of years.
Give it up for King Kong 360. Did you see how he saved us from those dinosaurs? I don't know, it's like he kind of knew I was afraid. It's like he wanted to save me. That's kind of romantic, guys. I don't know. Now, that experience that you just witnessed was projected on some of the world's largest 3D digital screens, about 180 feet long, 40 feet high. The entire experience was created by our friends over at Outta Effects. Outta Effects is responsible for all of the best CGI, computer-generated imagery in your favorite movies. I'll show you a couple examples of that right now. CGI is just one of the tools that we can use to make movies here at Universal Studios Hollywood. That is something that happens in the post-production phase. The majority of movies these days will use a combination of CGI and practical effects. And of course, we've been making movies for way, way longer than the concept of computers really existed, I think. I don't know my computer history, but I do know that when we first started making movies, we did not use CGI. Our effects were entirely practical. So instead of having a visual effects movie monster like King Kong, we started out with completely practical movie monsters, our classic Universal monsters. Now, these monsters were very, very important to our history. They saved us from bankruptcy. And so, we do like to honor them with a beautiful mural that you're going to see on your right-hand side. This was painted by the artist Tristan Eaton. It took over 800 cans of spray paint, but it honors our Wolfman, Gillman, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster and his bride, Invisible Man, if you look really closely. On our other side, though, we're seeing a little bit of production happening just past stage 34. We're seeing some late afternoon stuff happening for The Voice. That is inside of Soundstages 30 and 31. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but one of the judges for The Voice is Reba McEntire, single mom who works 2 jobs because she's also in Soundstage 32 and 33 for her TV show, Happy's Place.
Hey there, I'm Reba McEntire, and welcome to Happy's Place. We shoot our heartfelt comedy right here on Universal Live. Now, unlike most TV shows, we are a multi-camera sitcom, meaning several cameras capture every scene from a different angle all at the same time. Each episode takes about a week to make, from the first read-through of the script to rehearsals to taping in front of a live studio audience. And let me tell you, every step is a blast. Enjoy the ride, and we'll see you at Happy's Place. I'm starting to sweat. I was thinking about it. The men are the ones that's supposed to ask the women out. That hasn't been true for 30 years. I haven't dated in 30 years.
Happy's Place, Friday on NBC and Peacock.
Now, those stages are sitting right in front of our beautiful body of water, which you may recognize if you're a fan of the creature from the Black Lagoon. There it is. The Amazon River with the Hollywood Hills in the background, so don't look too closely. Now, that is our Park Lake or Hollywood Ocean, if you're feeling fancy. We pass by, but if you are feeling fancy, we're headed somewhere that we love to dress up. We're going to Little Europe. Woohoo! You guys are pass holders. You should know, then, this fact. Do you know why we call it Little Europe? It's because it's smaller than regular Europe. That's true. Anyways, if you've seen the TV show The Good Place, you might recognize this as the afterlife. Oh, that's Jimmy Fallon. Get out of here, Jimmy.
Eleanor Shellstrom, our death.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
as past members, you may be noticing this ride's a little smoother than normal. That's because we have filled the holes in the fake concrete cobblestone with sand. We did that for FanFest because this is the birthplace of the original Universal Monsters. That beautiful little courtyard you're passing is where we filmed all of our angry mob scenes. Basically, if you're watching a black and white Universal film and there's people with like torches and pitchforks, it was probably filmed in our Court of Miracles. Movies like Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein. Side note, show of hands, who here has actually seen the original Bride of Frankenstein movie? Okay, a couple people. Normally it's just me, I'll be honest. For those of you who haven't, check it out. That movie is wild, okay? The bride only shows up for the last 5 minutes. The rest of the movie, Frankenstein's monster is out in the woods, and he's learning to smoke cigars and drink alcohol. That is the actual plot of the movie. Anyways, we are headed inside of a soundstage. What a thrilling opportunity. I recommend everyone hold on to their stuff, remain seated. You never know what can happen inside of a soundstage, especially one that looks so suspicious. Interesting. But this is just a regular soundstage. It's set up for a production right now. I wish I could tell you more about it, but it's under NDA. NDA stands for Jenna wants to keep her job, so she has to shut her mouth. But if you look around, you might see a couple of hints. It looks like we're in San Francisco. Oh no. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to be concerned. Oh dear. Alright, Cracky's getting rocked. Everyone come back home. This might be the big one. Congratulations. I know, I lied to you. You knew I was lying. That's not a soundstage, that's Earthquake, the big one. And I feel like that's a pretty good lesson about the film industry, right? Because they are lying to you all the time. If you've ever seen the show American Ninja Warrior, they'll be like, we're coming to you live from downtown Los Angeles. No, they're not. It's our metro sets. Same with The Voice. They're like, oh, this is our downtown Los Angeles office. Nope, it's our metro sets again. It's like always our metro sets. Anyway, they closed that one a couple of years ago, updated all the film equipment to the 21st century, which I loved. It made the bit work a lot better, because before, I'd be like, this is a soundstage, and people would be like, why are these cameras from the 70s? That doesn't matter, though. You all took that really well, so I thought maybe as a treat, we could go to the beach. Does that sound like fun? Yeah, we'll do a little beach trip. It'll be a really silly time. Anyways, if you heard a rumor about us having a shark problem, no, you didn't. Okay? We don't have a shark problem. Don't tell people that. Anyways, my friend George works here. He's Universal's official scuba diver, right? And he's there to, and he, oh, that's a fin, I think. Uh-oh. George? And it's a fin combat. Okay, don't worry, everyone. Those are screams of excitement. And that's blood. Of excitement. Okay, he's gonna pull us forward. We're gonna hang out over here. by these red barrels. Can somebody read what the barrels said? Gasoline. Okay. We're going to hide by the gasoline barrels. I am fairly confident that is not going to come into play at all. So don't you worry about a thing. There'd have to be some sort of like leak or something. Or, oh no. The gasoline barrels have come into play. Who could have predicted this? All right, everyone, remain calm. I'm going to call the office. I'll let them know what's going on. Was anybody keeping track of that giant shark, by the way? Give yourselves a round of applause. You just survived Jaws. Ooh, bars. That's Bruce. Bruce is the best actor on the studio tour. Does anyone know what kind of shark Bruce is? Shout it out. Great white. False. Bruce is mechanical, which is the only kind of shark that can swim backwards. Look at him return to one like the perfect little actor he is. Anyway, he works way better than the one used in the actual film, which was not designed to be used in salt water. So when they decided to film on location in Martha's Vineyard, it pretty much immediately sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. They had to completely rethink how the film was put together. It created that air of suspense that you know and love, completely changed the way we do horror and thrillers to this very day. Now, Bruce is a very good example of a practical effect. We're talking about the difference between practical and visual effects. I'll show you another practical effect. We're going to do a fun little thunderstorm, all right? Yeah, we'll have a good time. You're going to hear that thunder. That's coming from speakers inside of the buildings, little convenience for you. And then that flashing is our lightning or strobe lights. In just a minute, we're going to cue the rain. Can we cue the rain? There we go. Sometimes it takes them a bit to hear me. Now, the rain is a really complicated and intricate system called sprinklers that we put on top of a really big pole that lets the water fall down naturally. Now, rain can sometimes be difficult to capture on camera. It needs to be properly lit from behind. If it's not lit from behind, that's why you won't be able to see it. That's why if you're watching like a football game, they say it's raining, you don't see the rain. That's what's going on. It's not lit very well. All right, can we cut the rain, please? Can we cut the rain? Oh, no. I can't believe this is happening again. That's a flash flood. You might recognize our flash flood if you see the movie Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, Paul Giamatti on your screens right now. Very good movie. I'll show you a little movie magic on your screens right now. There's Paul Giamatti. What that is, it's not double. Now, when Lady Gaga used those same sets for her Judas music video, she did not use a stunt double. Do with that information what you will. It's the power of Gaga, I think, or the power of who is in charge of production and how dangerous this stunt is. We do like to use our stunt people more than once. Now, we are turning into a suburban area of our backlot. Ooh. If you look at that yellow house on your left-hand side, that was Boo Radley's house in To Kill a Mockingbird. But on your other side is our Chicken Ranch. This big white house was originally built inside of Soundstage 12. At the time, it was able to open up like a dollhouse. This was for the best little whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton. Since they moved it here to the front of our Colonial Street, it is no longer able to open. But it is still fully practical, meaning we can film on the inside and the outside. That is right next to a good example of a facade where we can only film on the outside. A facade is a French word meaning false front. Now we are turning down Colonial Street. You may recognize it as Wisteria Lane if you are a fan of the Desperate Housewives, or you may recognize it from the new TV show, The Burbs.
Place, the safest town in America. So, what's the deal with that Victorian house? There have been whispers of murder.
Do white ladies love salads? Hell yeah, we're going in.
That's the same Victorian house that was 1513 Mockingbird Lane for the Munsters. Now, The Burbs is a reboot show of the movie starring Carrie Fisher. That movie was a lot of fun here on the Backlot because we let them blow up a house. That's one of the many reasons to film here as opposed to in an actual neighborhood. It really does not matter how nicely you ask the city of Los Angeles. And it doesn't matter how much money you give them. If you're like, hey, can I blow up a house? They're going to say no. Every time, they're going to say no. And the homeowners are probably also going to say no. But here at Universal Studios, we will let you blow up a house if you do it safely. And if you give us enough money and fix it afterwards. With those rules, Universal will pretty much let you do anything that you need to on the Backlot. We've also had houses destroyed by tornadoes in the show Desperate Housewives. I'll show you a little bit of that on your screens.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
Now, as I'm sure you all may know, as past members, that is one of the most filmed-in areas of our... Oh, a bunny! Little bunny on your left-hand side. That's adorable. We have a lot of wildlife here. We got raccoons. I've seen coyotes in broad daylight. That's beside the point. Colonial Street is one of our most filmed-in areas. Because of the TV show The Burbs, we weren't able to go in there for about 6 months, which can be pretty disappointing when somebody is going on a vacation to just see Wisteria Lane. But we never know what's going to happen, which direction the tour is going to go. It changes day to day. Now we're heading up our Wilderness Road. If you look to your right-hand side, you're going to see trees. If you look to your left-hand side, you'll see trees. That's why we call it Wilderness Road. But we do film here. There was an episode of 911 Emergency where they flipped a limo out here. More limo troubles in the show Never Have I Ever. And, this was used pretty heavily in Bird Box on Netflix with Sandra Bullock. Did anyone see this in Bird Box? No. Sandra Bullock didn't either. She was blindfolded the whole time. Anyways, I'm going to show you some examples of picture cars, starting with one of our original Universal Studios glamour trams way back from 1964, specifically March 15th. That's right, the studio tour is a Pisces. Now, a picture car is any vehicle that is seen on screen in a TV show or a movie. We have our Flintstone vehicles on your left-hand side. A lot of people don't know this, but those do actually drive. Those are golf carts with fiberglass covers on them, so they are drivable. Same with our little Who cars. Now, if you're ever watching a movie and you see a character driving, they're almost definitely not driving. That vehicle is being towed, and that is because driving and acting at the same time is illegal. It is distracted driving. And for fans of illegal things, this is the Bates Motel. This was used in the movie Psycho as directed by Alfred Hitchcock, as well as the sequels. It was also pictured very heavily in the movie Maxine. If anyone saw that one, that is not a movie that I recommend for younger audiences. But this house was also used in Maxine as well as Psycho. This is Norman Bates' mother's house. Cue the your mom joke. But she is home, it looks like, in that upper window. Give her a wave. Lovely lady. Lovely lady. But no murder today. That would be a disaster. And speaking of disasters, welcome to the plane crash site from War of the Worlds. You are looking at a real commercial 747 airliner purchased from an airplane graveyard out in the Mojave Desert for about $60,000. It's a pretty good deal. Unfortunately, it had already been decommissioned, so they had to spend $200,000 just to get it here. They split it into 4 pieces, drove it down the highway in the middle of the night. They had to pull the roof off so it could fit beneath the overpasses. Now those overpasses, the roof, of this plane is on your right-hand side, sitting on top of these lovely houses. These houses are based off of a real neighborhood in New Jersey where they filmed the first half of the scene. Tom Cruise and his family, they go down into the little bunker. The second half was filmed here where they come out and they see all of this wreckage. Now, you might look around and notice we don't have any blood, gore, or bodies, and that's because the director, Steven Spielberg, wanted to maintain that idea of suspense. He wanted to let the audience figure out what had happened. That idea of suspense that started way back in the 70s with the movie Jaws. Now, if we have any fans of horror, show of hands, who here has seen Nope, directed by Jordan Peele? All right, quite a few of us. You guys are going to know exactly what's going on. For those of you who haven't, this next part might get a little bit confusing, but don't worry, I'll be there to talk you through it.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park.
These are the actual sets used to film the movie Nope. It filmed about 40 minutes north of here in Agua Dulce, Sweetwater, California. When they wrapped, they lovingly took the sets apart, brought them here, and put them back together. It opened to our studio tour the very same day that the movie was released in theaters, which was a world record.
Brand new Star Lasso experience, built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of No.
For those of you who have no idea what's going on right now, there's an alien above the tram. Her name is Jean Jacket. That's beside the point. If you look up, Jean Jacket's gonna get you, okay? So do not look up. You can look to the left or the right. You can look down at the ground. You can make direct eye contact with me throughout the entirety of this bit if you want to make it weird. But do not look up, because if you look up and Jean Jacket gets you, then I have to do paperwork. And I really don't want to do paperwork, so please do not look up. Thank you. Perthree, I see you. I see you looking up, sunglasses. Don't look up. Did you get got? Raise your hand if you were a casualty. No casualty. Oh, one casualty. Yeah, I can live with that. I can live with one. That's fine. Anyways, check out this big concrete pit. This is Falls Lake. Pretty exciting. This is how we film anything that takes place out on open water. Movies like Psycho, Top Gun, Maverick, the Hunger Games sequel, Catching Fire, the final scene of The Truman Show, and quite a few scenes from Christopher Nolan's new movie, The Odyssey. Right, see coming up this beautiful fancy boat here. This is the actual screen-used ship from that film. It stars Matt Damon. Make sure to check out Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in theaters starting July 17th. They had quite the complicated filming process right there in Falls Lake. With that, though, we are just about heading to the end of our tour. I want to thank you all so much for coming with us today, and thank you for being pass holders. You are truly part of our Universal Studios family. You're what make this park so special. In just a second, I'm going to show you our martini shot. In film, a martini shot is the last thing the camera sees before the crew gets to go home and have a martini. For us, it's the last thing I'll show you before I bring you back to the theme park. It's going to be right here on your right-hand side. Beautiful green dumpster. I'm kidding, it's behind the dumpster. It's the entire San Fernando Valley. You can see all of our front and back lots. Behind that WB building is Warner Brothers Studios. Behind that brown building is Disney Studios, and if you look way off in the distance, you can see a short, long, blue and yellow building. That is the largest IKEA in North America. It has nothing to do with the film industry, but it is where I bought my bookshelf. So thank you all so much for coming with us today, my annual pass holders. Thank you for Coca-Cola. Make sure you check out that Coca-Cola zone. I want to thank our driver, Yagan. Everyone say thank you, Yagan.
Thank you, Gaga.
All right, I'll have you guys practice for your next tour. Get a little more pep in your step. Now, we are headed back to the theme park. My name has been Jenna. Thank you so much for coming on this very interesting journey with me. If you have any questions about the studio, about the industry, about my personal life, I will be over by the studio directory. But otherwise, as we say in the film industry, that's a wrap.
Thank you. Oh wow, okay. Cool. That was fun. It's a bit of a challenge to try to keep everything steady. But if you enjoyed that, please feel free to hit that like button, sub to the channel, and yeah, let's keep moving on and having some fun here at the USH Pass Member Takeover. Alright, thank you so much, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.